Hello, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy past holidays, I guess. Depends on when we release this. Happy New Year's. Happy Christmas. Happy everything. But most importantly, happy Spider-Man. Happy Spider-Man. Today, we are back. Me and Connor are in the same room. It's been a very long time since we've done this for a podcast. When was the last time we recorded, face-to-face?
The, Quake remake.
Yeah, that's right, the Quake remake. Yeah, so I guess it hasn't been as long as I thought. But we're back, which means it's going to be way easier to edit this.
Yeah.
And you're not going to believe this, but we just got back from watching Spider-Man 3, three Spider-Mans, the new Spider-Man, but also the old Spider-Man, in theaters. And we decided we're just going to do our old school thing where we talk about it and we say what we like, what we didn't like, what were the WTF moments, and is this, we gotta think of a good clickbaity title, does this movie redeem Eternals? Did you watch Eternals, Connor?
No, and I know you didn't either.
Exactly, we didn't watch Eternals, so our opinion of that is someone else's opinion, so we're not going to talk about that movie.
Well, I mean, it certainly made up the money that was lost, probably.
Yeah, it certainly did.
From that, and
did this Marvel movie redeem Marvel's worst year ever, except for, I guess, last year, because they didn't do anything last year? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about all of the hot news, all of the sweet gossip about this movie, all of the DLC that we're going to be seeing, all of the new skin packs, everything.
Okay. So do we want to do a plot overview, or do we just want to keep this kind of short?
I have no issue doing a plot overview.
Okay. You've seen it twice. So
yeah, I've seen it twice, so I'll do my best. So one of the things that's weird about this movie is it doesn't really have a 3-act structure. It's like, and it feels kind of like you're binging a TV show, but it's like, it turns out that Mysterio, he told everyone who Spider-Man is, and he told everyone that he killed him. So everyone thinks that Mysterio is a superhero still, and everyone is all mad at Spider-Man because they think he's a murderer. But then, in a huge plot twist, Sony and Marvel changed their agreement and they decided that they will work together. So they scrap that whole plot line, and instead, everyone's okay with Spider-Man again. So the big twist at the end of the last Spider-Man movie gets resolved in about, 5 minutes, 7 minutes maybe. The important thing is that Daredevil shows up and saves the day, but he doesn't wear the costume, and he doesn't show up for the rest of the movie. But the rest of the movie is that Spider-Man's trying to get his buddies into college. So what he does is that he goes and gets Doctor Strange's help. And Doctor Strange is like, yeah, sure, old buddy, old pal, I'll help you out. And then he finds out that Peter just didn't even try anything else. He just went straight to magic, which, I don't know, you can't really blame him. If you have friends with a wizard, you might as well just abuse that relationship, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he goes to Doctor Strange to make a magic spell so it'll get his friends into college, but it doesn't work, and Doctor Strange has to stop the spell before it explodes the universe. But it brings over some characters from the other movies, and Spider-Man has to gather them all up so he can teach them to be nice, because he's like, I'm not like those gay Spider-Men. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm not like those other Spider-Men. I'm not going to just straight up murder all these villains. And then it gets out of hand because the Green Goblin is back and he wants to kill everyone. So Spider-Man and his new amazing friends, which are also Spider-Man, have to team up and stop all the bad guys. And that is the plot of the movie.
Yeah, which, now that you've said it, isn't overly complex. And I was
I was kind of surprised too when I explained it. I was like, oh, this isn't that complex of a movie.
And after you started rolling, it's like, the whole Mysterio thing kind of gets forgotten after the past 10 minutes. So literally almost.
I found this out recently, but originally, because a few years ago, Sony and Marvel were going to fall out and they were going to stop making movies together. So the original Spider-Man 3 was going to be about J. Jonah Jameson hires Kraven the Hunter to hunt Spider-Man, and it was going to be like Spider-Man on the run for the whole movie. And then, apparently they were actually in, production to make that movie. And then at some point when Marvel and Sony decided they can be friends again, they decided, oh, well, let's just use Doctor Strange and do what everyone's been saying on the internet for years to bring all 3 Spider-Men together. Which we said on this show, like the very first podcast we did, maybe not the very first, but one of the earliest videos we did like our like dream superhero movies that they should make. We said that they should do a crossover movie. So, if you like the movie, we're the ones to thank. No one else who like actually like worked on the movie and like helped produce it, those people did absolutely zero compared to us. That's what I have to say. Where was I going with this? I've totally lost my train of thought.
I don't know, like, oh yeah, you had
oh yeah. So yeah, what happened was that because Marvel and Sony are friends again, they decided to make this big movie instead of the one that they were setting up. So it is kind of lame that they took the plot element of Spider-Man on the run, because I've always really liked that storyline. It's been like used a lot in comics and video games where Spider-Man gets framed. So it is kind of lame that they just kind of throw that away, but it's still good, still a fun enough movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are getting a Craven movie at some point.
Sony's weird with how many movies they just like throw out and stuff.
Yeah,
but
he's already been cast. I think I forget who it is. It was someone kind of weird.
Was it Henry Cavill? I know
No,
there was some fans saying that he should do it.
I don't think it was Henry Cavill.
Okay, that's probably for best.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I don't remember. But so yeah, let's kind of get into the good, the bad, the what the F.
Yeah.
We'll start with the good. I'll go ahead with that. So I had like heard that they were talking about bringing back Matthew Murdock, Daredevil, in some form or fashion. I had largely thought it was just going to be a rumor. Like he was rumored to appear in this movie, or they were going to like hint at it. It wasn't going to be him. I'm
curious because like before all of the rumors started with like the 3 Spider-Men, the Daredevil rumor was like floating around on the internet, and I'm curious if that was going to be if he had a bigger role in the canceled Craven movie. But who knows?
Okay, but yeah, going off of that, so people pretty much straight up said, "Oh yeah, Toby and Andrew Garfield are in this movie," but like I guess I didn't hear anybody say, "Oh yeah, Charlie Cox is in this movie as Matthew Murdock," and sure enough, he appears in the movie almost right in the beginning, and I was like, "Oh, that's nice." So
no, it's super nice. I mean, the Daredevil TV show is one of the best Marvel things. There's no argument there. And it was always kind of up in the air as to whether or not it was actually going to be like tied in with the MCU, because when the show first came out, it felt more like that, because like they mentioned like the attack in New York and Thor and stuff like that. But then by the 3rd season, they don't talk about any of that stuff.
Yeah. So it was largely MCU and name only, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, a lot of people were commenting for like at least Punisher that you don't see the Stark building and like the skyline, which I don't know if that might have been just a overall goof.
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't actually from the right angle. I don't know. But so yeah, it was nice to see him appear. Kind of curious what they're going to do with him moving forward, but
Yeah, from what I've heard, and this could be totally fake, but it also might not, because I don't know if you've looked at Disney Plus's slate for Marvel TV shows next year, but it's a mess, I'll say that.
Yeah, I know it's like What If Season 2.
Yeah.
Loki Season 2, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like those two like make sense, but it's just they're giving all these weird characters spin-off, like the
Echo.
Yeah, Echo. The bad lady from what's it called? From WandaVision is getting a spin-off. It's just it feels like a lot, but apparently I think there's like a leaked email or something like that, and I could be wrong. But apparently the pitch for the Echo show was literally just Daredevil Season 4. And there's some rumors saying that it's going to have the Daredevil cast in it as well, which would make sense when you consider how the Hawkeye show ends.
Yeah, that was another thing. Now that I'm kind of remembering it, and you kind of mentioned it. What's her name who played Karen Page?
Yeah.
I think the rumor that Charlie Cox was going to appear kind of stemmed from like her being seen having like lunch or something with the girl who played MJ
Yeah, so
in the original Spider-Man
yeah,
movies.
I'll talk about that. So the original Mary Jane was seen on set. Apparently, there is a deleted scene with her, and there's a
Okay,
picture
it was on
online.
set. Okay, I thought it was
Yeah,
just someone randomly saw them in like New
the
York
thing
or
is
whatever.
that the actor who plays as Karen Page in the Daredevil show said that's not me, and the woman in the picture is wearing sunglasses and a face mask. So who
Oh.
knows who it could be? That being said, all of the surprise actors were paid to say they weren't in the movie. So like, it's who knows? Who knows? Time will tell. But hopefully she shows up in the new Echo show, and hopefully all the characters show up in Marvel stuff, because I don't know, we'd like to see those characters. We'd like to see where they've been.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
that's
don't
the
think I had
Daredevil
anywhere.
rant.
Yeah, I don't think I really had anywhere to go with that.
Yeah.
What was something you kind of liked about this?
Oh, I just think it's fun. So like, this is definitely one of those movies that it's very made by a studio just to please as many people as they can. Like, if I feel like they took like the best elements from all of the Spider-Man movies and just kind of threw them together. I haven't seen all the Spider-Man movies, so I guess I shouldn't say that. But all the stuff that I liked, I felt like was in this, and they have all three Spider-Man in it, because I know there's a lot of people that are butthurt about them not using Tobey Maguire and stuff like that. So you can't be mad. I don't know. This is just a movie that you can't really be mad at, and there's a lot of just little things that I like. Like, for instance, J. Jonah Jameson is in it. He's played by J.K. Simmons, and he's just yelling the whole movie just about how Spider-Man's a menace and stuff. And if you take him out of the movie, the plot is exactly the same. But at the same time, it's just kind of nice to, like, you know, see him and hear that voice. And what is it? At the end, Spider-Man gets, like, the OG costume from, like, the comics with, like, the little black spider on the chest, and it's the cheesy blue. So, yeah, it's good, you know? It's, I guess I'd probably say my favorite thing about the movie, though, was that in Far From Home, which is the second of the Tom Holland ones, Peter Parker's kind of like a annoying little brat. Like, I'm just going to come out and say it, that he's just whiny and obnoxious, and he doesn't want to be Spider-Man. He doesn't want to do anything, and I really hated that. And he's not like that in this movie, so thank goodness.
Yeah, I think I'll kind of like echo the two things that you said.
Mm-hmm.
So starting with, this being a fun movie. So I've pretty much like stayed away from Marvel for the past like maybe 2.5 years. Well, it must have been since not Infinity War, Endgame.
Yeah.
That was like the last new Marvel thing I saw, and this, like, I guess this is a good thing for Marvel. It got someone like me who has not been interested in any of the other stuff they pushed out, like Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, any of the Disney Plus shows. Like, I haven't been interested in any of that, but I was motivated to go see this in theaters.
Yeah. And what kind of surprised me was that, like, for the marketing and stuff, they never showed off the fact that they brought over all three Spider-Mans, which, I don't know, I feel like it's cool to have twists like that, but one, I feel like everybody already knew it was going to come. And I feel like if you had put that in the marketing, then I feel like more people would have seen this movie. That being said, this movie already made like $1 billion, so why on earth am I telling them what to do to make more money?
They used a surprising amount of restraint with that, but I think other people were already analyzing it. Like, they were looking at one of the trailers where you see Sandman and
Electro.
No, was it Electro? Yeah, it must have been Sandman, Electro, and Lizard, like, jumping, and they're like, oh, they're each jumping towards a different point.
Well, yeah, because in the trailer, like, they just CGI'd them out. So, like, in some of the versions of the trailer, the Lizard would be getting kicked in the face by nothing, and people are like, "What's this?"
Yeah. But yeah, no. Going back to the other thing I want to echo. So yeah, I think Tom Holland did a pretty good job in this. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of his portrayal. Like, since he's kind of a shorter guy, he's like not really a fully like he's not in his prime Spider-Man.
Yeah. Also, he suffers from Rick and Morty syndrome, where they're just like, "Hey, Spider-Man, just stutter a bunch like Morty and Rick and Morty. Just be really obnoxious." Like, if you watch him in Endgame, he's only in the movie for like 2 minutes, but I still want to punch him in the face. Like, he just shows up and he's like, "Oh, Tony Stark, oh, blah, 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 and we have to, there was the big Spidey thing, and there was the big wizard, and I got turned to dust, and blah, blah, blah," and it's just, stop. Spider-Man, you don't have to talk that much.
Go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like the short thing I guess isn't as fair to say because apparently Tobey Maguire's like not that much
Mm-hmm.
taller than him. Andrew Garfield, on the other hand, I think he's like just like physique wise, he fits the bill pretty well,
Yeah.
or like height wise, or whatever you want to say. And yeah, I think he did a pretty good job. I had not seen either of the Amazing Spider-Man films, but I think he fits the role pretty well.
Yeah, so I started the first Amazing Spider-Man years ago, and I never finished it just because it felt like too much of a retread of the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. But like now that I've seen him in this, like I don't know, he's having a blast. Like I'd be willing to see him show up again. Maybe he can like show up and be Spider-Man's mentor in other Spider-Man movies or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It kind of made me sad because he's only had 2 Spider-Man movies, and I heard they were both pretty bad. So it's like, oh, I feel bad for you, little man.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably taller than me, but I feel bad for you, Andrew Garfield, and all the lies you said about how you weren't in the movie.
Yeah. Toby did a pretty good job as well. He
Yeah.
looked like yeah, he like he didn't really like phone it in that much, which was good.
Yeah, so I wasn't super keen on the first viewing. I was like, I feel like he's just kind of phoning it in. But after watching it twice, I was like, no. And like the thing is with Tobey Maguire is that he's not really like a big, you know, like in the Marvel movies, the Marvel characters are all very loud and telling jokes and stuff like that. And
He's a quiet guy.
yeah, he's a quiet guy. Like,
I'm Tobey Maguire. Hey,
I'm Tobey Maguire. Oh, is it pizza time?
I'm gonna rub dirt in your eye.
Yeah,
Or I'm gonna
see you around, chump. You know, so like, I guess that makes sense, and I think he does a good job. And I like the fact that he's old. Like they didn't try to de-age him.
Yeah.
Like that would have been. I feel like that just would have been weird.
Yeah, but where was I going with that? I guess another like kind of thrown in with we got no structure to this.
No,
But like I don't feel like I was nostalgia baited.
I don't feel I was
At all.
nostalgia baited either, and that could be just that I don't have as strong of a nostalgic connection to either of those Spider-Men.
Yeah.
Like, probably the character in this I was the most excited to see come back was what is it, the Green Goblin? But that also could have just been because what is his name? Willem Dafoe does a really fun job, like the Goblin voice and stuff, and it's one of those things where it's hard to tell if it's nostalgia or not, where it's just exciting to see something you never thought you would see again, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, cool, it's the Green Goblin. I never thought I would see him again, you know?
Yeah. Like, yeah, he did a really good job. I'm surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say surprised. For some reason, I didn't think he was going to be in the movie, even though the pumpkin bomb is in one of the trailers. And then I forget if there's any other. Like,
well, I
clips
thought all the villains were gonna be a lot less like major characters. They were just it was gonna be like a Megamind game where Spider-Man just shows up and beats them all up individually, then throws them in jail, and then they all go back home. Well, they all escape at the end, and then he has to fight them all. But they actually tried to like, do stuff with all the characters. Well, all the villains, I should say.
Yeah.
And it was kind of surprising because I figured that they had just assumed that everyone had forgotten what had happened in the other Spider-Man movies, but I think it still like lines up and stuff. Like they're talking about, Doc Ock is trying to get his machine back, and I'm like, was that in the second movie? I don't know. I haven't seen the second movie since I was very small.
I've only seen the second movie once, and that was in theaters.
I have watched it twice. I watched it like the day after I watched Spider-Man 3 in theaters, so that should let you know that it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And I have the DVDs at home, but it's just, I don't know if I want to sit through them.
Yeah. But yeah, they kind of, like, even having not seen, I haven't seen the first and second in the longest time. Definitely the second in the longest time. I think I've seen the first more recently than that. But, that and then the Amazing Spider-Man films. It was nice that they kind of gave, like, a bit of a recap for each of the villains.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you hadn't seen those movies or you'd kind of forgotten about them, you kind of knew who they were.
Yeah.
And they didn't really dwell on it too much.
No.
Yeah. Overall, this is just a very entertaining film. Like, there's nothing that, like, really stands out that I say, like, oh, yeah, this is 100% perfect, best superhero movie.
Yeah.
But nothing that I can say, like, overly bad about it either. I guess another thing I can add is, that MJ didn't annoy me as much as in this film. I was not impressed with her, and, what was the first one called?
Homecoming.
Homecoming. Yeah. It's like I thought
she's like a totally different character.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this. And like it kind of, I don't know. I'd have to watch the second one again, but I don't want to. They kind of shifted over to that, and I feel like she acts more like she did in the comics in this movie.
Yeah, even though she's, I guess, not supposed to be, the same Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah.
It's some weird rights thing with Sony.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, like they actually gave her more of a personality in this one, or like I guess Zendaya or whatever tried to.
Yeah, and she does a good job too. Like none of her acting was too cringy.
Yeah, Zendaya took a different approach this time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I haven't seen the second one, No Way Home, or dang it, Far From Home.
Yeah.
So I don't know how she was different in that, or if.
Yeah, I think she was. I forget.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the bad.
There's not a lot bad in this movie. One complaint I'd have is what they do with Venom. So Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. The end credit scene is Venom looks at the TV and it has Tom Holland's Spider-Man on it, and J. Jonah Jameson's like, "Oh, Spider-Man's a menace," and like Venom like licks the TV and he's like, "Oh, I've got some beef with that guy." So like the end credit scene of that movie was, surprise, this movie does take place in the MCU, and Venom and Spider-Man are gonna fight. So I expected him to show up in this movie, and it would have been really easy just to have Eddie Brock show up to like the Daily Bugle and be like, "Hey man, I'm on the case, I'm gonna go hunt down Spider-Man, So I feel like you could have done that very easily, but instead, in an end credit scene, it just turns out that Eddie Brock is still in Mexico and he's just drunk, and then he gets teleported back to the Venom universe, whatever universe that is. But it turns out there's a little piece of Venom that gets left behind. So I guess Venom is going to fight Spider-Man, but it's not going to be the Venom from the Venom movies. And it's like, are we... I don't know. I feel mixed on this, because I always felt like it was stupid to do a Venom movie without Spider-Man, just because those characters are so closely related, like with the black suit and everything.
Yeah.
But now we're going to have, like, 2 different Venoms going on. I don't know how it's going to work. And I always thought that, what's his name, Tom Hardy did a pretty good job with Venom, like, just... the fact that he's able to talk to himself and the Venom voice, I thought he did a good, like, I'm not saying the Venom movies are good, but I felt like he would have fit in well with, like, the Spider-Man movies. So, a little lame that they didn't do anything with Venom. Like, you have an end credit scene that leads to an end credit scene in another movie, and then that's it. Okay, sure.
Yeah. So I got a couple bad things I want to mention.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is much of a bad as it is a... what the F.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, having not seen the second one, I still don't know, like, how, like, if there's, like, an Uncle Ben in this universe, or, like, how he'd fit in, because in this movie, like, Aunt May gets the line, like, with great power comes great responsibility. It's like, okay.
Yeah, so that's a weird thing, I guess we can talk about that, is that they kind of like tease that Uncle Ben existed without actually showing him in the other movies. And now I'm starting to like wonder if he just doesn't exist at all.
Yeah.
Because some people are saying that this right here is secretly a Spider-Man origin movie, because like it basically resets the Spider-Man movies at the end. Because everyone forgets who he is, and he's lost his aunt instead of his uncle, and now he's living on his own and stuff. And he loses all his like friends and connections to the Avengers, so it's gonna be weird what they do with the Spider-Man movies from now on.
Yeah.
And yeah, where's Uncle Ben? Like, I didn't care before, but now I actually want to know.
Yeah. I made you care by asking the question,
Mm-hmm.
but no one wants to ask.
Yep.
So yeah, because like Uncle Ben dying, isn't that like the major thing in like?
Yeah,
like Peter Parker's life that makes him like really...
Well, that's like the driving force what makes him become Spider-Man.
Yeah, so like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Then the other bad things, like, this version of Flash Thompson just straight up sucks. I'm gonna go out and say it, like, yeah, he sucks ass. Like, he dyes his hair blonde in this one.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a tool. Like, I have very little frame of reference to, like, how he is in the comics. And then, like I don't know how he
in like the comics. Usually he was like just like supposed to be like a jock.
Yeah.
And then in these movies, he's kind of just been more like a tool. But he's also because like he hasn't been like as much of a stereotypical bully because he's still kind of a nerd like Peter Parker, but he's kind of his rival. So he's just kind of like a tool and like a douchebag to him. And yeah, he's barely in this movie, which is fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I don't think they know what to do with him anymore.
No, maybe. I don't think they do either. I don't think they're ever going to do anything with him again. So, because what is it? The second Spider-Man movie. One of the things that was obnoxious with it is how like it was just trying so hard to be like a Euro trip movie where it focused so much on all of the classmates that Peter Parker had, and nobody cares about them. Okay. And that's the nice thing about this one is that it's the only two classmates that are like in this movie are just Ned and MJ, so you don't have to worry about all of Peter's school drama because he's in school for like 5 minutes.
And Flash only showing up in the movie for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But still, it was enough to leave an imprint on me to say this guy sucks ass.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, there's nothing else exactly negative I have to say unless I think of something.
Nothing. Yeah, there's nothing really wrong with this movie. Like I said, it's just trying to please people, and that's what it does. So
yeah. As far as what the F moments, so there is one that this is more of like a technical thing than like a story or whatnot. But like in the first scene that you actually see Willem Dafoe, like they de-aged him, right, in this?
I honestly I don't know. I think they did, but I don't know. Like I think they de-aged Doc Ock. But I don't know about the Green Goblin. Like, he still looked pretty old. And I guess he's old in the first Spider-Man movie, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. And...
He's at least middle-aged in the first movie.
Yeah.
But here he looked about the same from what I remember. And, like, but yeah, if they did de-age him, like, there's, like, when he's, like, in that alley scene, like, he, like, looks down and it's kind of jank for a second. Like, it's quick, like, it's a quick, like his head turns down, like, unnaturally fast. And it's, like... And it looked like the de-aging like didn't work.
Yeah.
For a second, but I don't know. I'd have to look for it again to see if.
Also, what's up with Oscorp not existing in the MCU?
Oh yeah, that is really weird.
Like I was like, oh, because I know this isn't so much a complaint, but more a concern was that when I heard they were bringing over all these other villains, I was like, well, does that mean that we're not going to get to see like this universe's version of all of them? Because like, I don't know. I mean, the Doc Ock like. The design of that character is pretty much perfect, but I still would have liked to see a new version of Doc Ock and like a new version of Green Goblin and stuff. But I don't know if we're ever going to see that stuff. We might, who knows?
Yeah.
Like I have no clue where these movies are going to go now, except for I guess Venom's going to be in them, maybe.
Yeah, that's a...
What if they just did that for like 10 years straight, just every end credit scene with a Spider-Man movie ends with like the Venom getting closer to Peter Parker? And then by the time that like Tom Holland's like 55 and like nobody's watching the MCU movies anymore, they're like straight to DVD Disney sequels. And that's when they finally bring over Venom.
Yeah. I guess kind of speaking of Venom, but I kind of understand why this didn't happen, but like they didn't bring back friggin' what's his name? Topher Grace.
Yeah.
Eddie Brock.
They could have brought over him, you know, I mean.
Yeah, just to like, well, I mean, he was from Tobey's universe. They only brought back like one villain from each movie, which I guess that's what they're kind of going for.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Spider-Man 3, you would have had to have done the 3.
And there's no way that, what's his name, freaking James Franco is getting hired anytime soon.
Doesn't he have something else coming out soon?
I don't think so.
Is he in trouble with the law?
He's in trouble with Me Too. He's in trouble with that.
Oh, that's no surprise.
And the fact that, what's his face, the pothead dude, what is the name of that guy? Yeah, him. Seth Rogen. There was like an interview. They're like, what do you think about these accusations against him? He's like, oh, I've known him for a long time. Yeah. They're probably true. And it's like, ooh.
Seth friggin' Rogen. I'm going to have some stuff to say about him for the year-end podcast. And it's not going to be pretty. And you probably know what it's about.
Oh, yeah. It could be about literally anything he's done. Except for Invincible. But.
Oh, I didn't know he was in that. But, Okay, yeah. Where's I going with that? Yeah, it would have been neat to see a couple more like the
Yeah,
older
imagine if they
villains.
took the Topher Grace Venom, had him actually act like Venom, and then made him ripped. Like that would probably be no, that would be better than the freaking Tom Hardy version of Venom. I mean, you know, it
Yeah,
shouldn't be hard to make a cool Venom.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think Topher's would want to come
I
back
don't think
though.
he'd want to either.
Yeah, because like a lot of people didn't like his portrayal
No,
at all.
me included. That's why I'm saying you change it up a little bit.
It'd be funny though.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then another like what the f was like with Lizard. A
yeah.
lot of the scenes just look like he's talking to himself or talking to no one.
Yeah.
Like
I
just
think
the
he
way.
was talking to no one in some of the scenes where he goes, "Ah, so it
Well,
begins."
no, that, but like the ones where he's like in the wizard cage or
Yeah.
whatever, it's like the way they like zoom in so close, and like the
Mm-hmm.
CGI doesn't look the best for him.
No, the
Weirdly,
design for him doesn't look the best either.
yeah. Like, where's it? Like, did he have a like pants and a jacket in the
In the Amazing
ultimate
Spider-Man, when he
Amazing
first
Spider-Man?
turns into Venom, not Venom, when he first turns into Lizard, he has pants and a lab coat. But then by the end, he rips out of them and he's just running around naked, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean
But like,
he had both like he had pants and a lab coat in the comics.
yeah, exactly. So like, they could have at least left him like with the lab coat and stuff on. But no, I could see why non-Spider-Man fans would think that's weird and cheesy. But I don't know. This movie's already full of so much like stuff for Spider-Man fans. Just give him the lab coat, you know.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think he was British in The Amazing Spider-Man. I think he was just a regular American, and in this, he's like, "Oh yes, I'm a very good gentleman, chap."
Yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah.
Cuz I know like his character like appears like it's more of a cameo in like Spider-Man 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And like yeah, he's not British at all. But like yeah, where did that come from?
Yeah, I legitimately don't think that was in The Amazing Spider-Man. Again, I haven't watched it all the way through, and it's been a few years.
Was it even the same actor?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I can tell you that they didn't get the same actor for freaking Sandman, that's for sure.
I thought that was
Oh,
the
it
same.
was, but they were using like I mean, I don't know if the voice was the same, but they didn't actually get him to like fly in because at the end when he turns back into a normal man, it's just like stock footage. That's why you don't see like
Oh,
him and like
okay.
Peter interact at all.
All right. Yeah, speaking of which, when Electro frickin' zapped um the Statue of Liberty at the end, like after Sandman had been turned back, like Sandman would have been dead as shit.
Oh yeah, that's true. Unless he has really thick rubber boots.
Yeah.
I don't think he does.
Or if he grounded himself somehow.
Yeah.
Or like didn't ground crap, whatever the terminology is.
Mhm.
But yeah. My goodness. But yeah, that's about all I had for like weird stuff.
Yeah.
Anything you want to close with?
Uh Did you think Tobey Maguire was going to die when he got stabbed?
Yeah.
I did too. I was like, "Oh, dang."
But no, it's like, okay, hey, I'm fine, guys. I'm in a lot of pain, but
Yeah,
I'm
I'm in a lot of pain. I've been stabbed before. I was like, "Dang, Tobey Maguire really does not like Spider-Man. He probably like, I'll only be in this movie if I die." And also, did these movies erase the Tobey Maguire universe? I feel like they kind of do cuz I don't know. I feel like if Green Goblin goes back home and he's just normal again, how much of the rest of the movies are going to get canceled out? Because I know that freaking uh, Harry isn't going to be trying to kill Spider-Man forever now because he's already been cured. So it's kind of weird. Like what happens in those universes? Do they just get erased? Time travel is complicated.
Do you want to know the one that's the most effed up? It's probably Doc Ock, because like right as he was about to kill Spider-Man in that movie, he like has like a change of heart or whatever,
Yeah.
and then like decides to like destroy the machine or whatever.
Mhm.
So
Does he
it
just go back home and then he tries to build the machine and then it just blows up and blows up the planet?
Well, I think they would be put back where they were like at the point that they got
Mhm.
taken from. So if it's at that point, like he was gonna have that change anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Interesting stuff.
So maybe that's like a bad like thing or plot hole or whatever, but I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see where all this goes, and if we'll see these characters again. Because I mean, none of them are dead. I mean, you could bring back any of them.
Yeah. I don't know how many of them are currently doing as much acting. I don't know. Like Jamie Foxx, I don't know if he's been in anything recently.
Yeah, I don't think he's been doing a ton of stuff. I know he has. He used to have a radio show. I don't know if he still does.
Yeah, Toby, same. I have no idea what he's
Apparently,
done.
the last movie Tobey Maguire was in before this was The Boss Baby. And that came out a few years ago, so...
Holy crap. He was in Boss Baby?
Yeah, apparently he was in Boss Baby. But, yeah, I don't think he would come back again after this. I mean, maybe they would if they threw another $1 million at him, but... I don't know. Tobey Maguire's a bad dude. Like, just gonna say that right now. He's a bad guy.
He's done some shit?
Yeah, he's done some pretty mean shit to people.
Okay. Yeah, learn something new every day.
I feel like Andrew Garfield would be willing to come back.
Yeah, okay, yeah, definitely bring him back. It's same boat for him. Like I have no idea what like he even did before Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, he's been in a lot of stuff. He's been mostly in like
he was in
The Social Network.
Social Network. Yeah. That's right.
And then he was in that movie. I think it's called Hacksaw Ridge, where it's like World War II, but the guy doesn't shoot any guns.
Yeah, because he's a pacifist. Yeah, I've been wanting to see that. I didn't know he was.
I've seen one clip from that, and some dude gets his eyeballs shot out, and they go into somebody else's mouth. It's an intense movie.
Like fully intact, they go into someone's mouth.
They blow up, and the goo flies all over the guy's face, including his mouth.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so that's some Doom level stuff right there. Yeah, but he's still in stuff, I think.
Okay.
And like he definitely like in the movie you can tell that he's having fun with it. So I think he definitely would like to come back.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually know this, but originally they were planning on just having him show up in the MCU movies. But apparently because Amazing Spider-Man 2 was so bad, they just decided to do a recast. But eventually he still found his way here in the MCU.
The younger and shorter Spider-Man.
Yep, baby Spider-Man.
Actually, I don't know how old Andrew Garfield is. I assume he's in his 30s.
Yeah, I assume he's in his 30s. He looks good, but
yeah.
he's definitely in his 30s.
Okay. Huh.
Tom Holland is probably younger than us.
No, I think he's like a year or two older.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I imagine that when he's...
But he's about a foot shorter.
Yeah, I imagine that when he becomes Andrew Garfield's age, he will still look like he's a few years younger than us.
Yeah, I'd rather have... Well, I have gift of Matthew Broderick syndrome.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Then, yeah. But it's better or worse than Tom Hanks syndrome. You're like middle age for like... When you're like 30 till like 60.
Or Morgan Freeman, where you just stay old forever.
Yeah. I thought that was more of a John Madden thing.
Oh,
John Madden looked like he was 60.
That's true.
Forever. Like he had the... I don't know, John Madden or Steve Martin.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Steve Martin, even back in like the original Saturday Night Live from like the 70s, he still had like all white hair. Like...
He has some sort of like traumatic
experience.
I don't know.
Do you think he's Billie Eilish's dad? That was a stupid joke. I'm sorry. I don't even think she has white hair anymore.
I never knew she had white hair. Oh, they'll show some. Oh, I don't care. Like, yeah. Why am I trying to justify that thought in my head? Yeah, like why? Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to close it on that note.
No. So, I'll close it on this note. So, of all the movies I've seen this year, and I've actually seen I definitely saw movies in theater this year. This one has been the best so far. Probably gonna be the best because the only other movie that I'll probably see is The Fourth Matrix, and we know what to expect from that pretty much.
Oh boy, here we go.
So if I actually do see that, I will talk about it in the year in review. But till then, yep, this was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'd recommend seeing it. At the very least, you'll enjoy it, possibly, unless you're like, you hate Tom Holland Spider-Man or the MCU.
Yeah.
Then why are you, even watching it? All right.
All right. Do you rank this in the upper class of MCU films, the middle class, or the lower class? There's so many now that that's the only way we can really rank them.
I would say it's like lower upper.
Yeah, I would think I would agree with that.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause
it's definitely not like one of the best.
It's an enjoyable film, but I can't really like justify why it would be good or like
Mhm.
quantify why it would be good.
Yeah,
As far as just like bringing, other than like bringing a bunch of like
just
old
Spider-Man
characters
stuff,
back
yeah.
that did a pretty decent job overall.
Okay, I'd have to agree with that. All right, that closes this little podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for our end of the year review, where we just go over the best and worst of 2021
From our point of view, from what we've seen or whatever.
which is always fun. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.